Cut the fans. We are live. How about you, everybody? Welcome into the Auburn Live call-in show. I'm your host, Jeffrey Lee, senior recruiting editor for Auburn Live on 3, dadgummit. Tonight is Sunday, September the 8th, 2024. We are 24 hours after Auburn lost to the California Bears by the score of 21-14. We're going to get to as many calls tonight as possible, 701-779-9585. Tonight, we want to get to as many calls as possible. I know a lot of you've got a lot of things to say about this game, a lot of things to say about this team. So we want to get to as many as possible. Like, get on, give us your thoughts, and we want to move on because I know everybody's wants to opine a little tonight. So we'll try to keep it try to keep the calls short so we can move on and get to as many as possible. Here to do it all with me, as always, Mr. Cole Pinkston, Mr. Allen Head. How about you?
How about you?
How about you, by George?
How about you, brother? Cole and I just had this. It feels like it's going to be probably a very similar conversation right now.
Yeah.
That we had about 2 hours ago, but not the same positivity we had this time last week, right?
Highs and lows, the life of an Auburn fan.
I'm telling you, right?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. We want to, like I said, go ahead and get those calls in. Before we do, how about you to Mr. Cam Miller and his smoking hot wife, Robin, or his girlfriend, or his side chick? I'm not sure. Actually, I think it was his wife. How about you to them? And then how about you to Little Lakeland? Little Lakeland, 6-year-old, big fan of the show. She's watching at home. I want to tell her to whatever she's doing to stop it because I know it's something that she's not supposed to be doing. Stop it, Lakeland. All right. All right, fellas. How about a little quick 2 minutes on each. 2 minutes, everybody. Give me your thoughts on what the hell happened yesterday. Cole, you go first.
Well, even since we did our show earlier today, I've been making some calls, just trying to. Now, I want something other than my opinion on it. You know what I mean? And, my opinion pretty much matches up with the people that know things. So, I mean, it was a game plan issue. I think that was where you start with it. I think that they're trying to force the passing game. And, I've always felt they were going to do that. That's why I said something about Cal back in the summer. I said, hey, guys, I don't really like the way this game lines up for Auburn. They're going to be experimenting with the passing game by the time they get to that game. And you got kids that are coming straight from high school that they're going to be relying on, plus new faces in general. And the passing game is horribly broken. So it's going to take some time. And that's exactly what happened. So it's more the longer I go through this play script, boy, I like the run game, though. Just like we liked it last year. It looks better and better to me as the game goes on. And they started going to it. And you know what? It tells you everything you need to know. When their back is against the wall, what do they go to? The run game. 12 personnel. You find out the most about a coach when his back's against the wall. That's when he does what he's most comfortable with. That's what he does, what he believes in the most. And he said it after the game. He said, man, I thought we were further along than that. You cannot do that. You have to know you can execute something when you go into a game.
Mr. Allen Head.
Similar to Cole, this is the second year in a row you've gone into this game and you don't really have an identity, right? You saw, offensively speaking anyway, I think for the second year in a row, defensively, you played pretty well.
Yeah. I should have
particularly in the second half. And realistically, I think if the offense doesn't put the defense in several bad spots, that they don't even give up 7 in the second half. Now, truth be known, it should have been 21-21 because Kay and Lee had a pick 6 and dropped it. Made a beautiful read on it and play, but you got to complete that one. And he's one of the bright spots. I think obviously Keldrick Falk is also a bright spot with the way he played. Realistically, the whole front 7. I was encouraged by the way they fit the run. I thought they did an exceptional job from that standpoint. DBs, we got to do a better job with our awareness, getting our head around making plays on the football in the right position, just not necessarily making plays on the ball right now. So that's got to continue to come along, but good second half adjustments. But as far as offense goes, last year, you thought you were going to be able to go in and just basically run over Cal, and they rolled 8 down in the box, and you were unable to do that, and then you couldn't take vertical shots. And this one, it was the opposite. You came in, a lot of RPO, a lot of drop back to begin the game. It worked to begin with, and then things just kind of fell apart. You made some play calls and decisions where I think you kind of put your team in a situation that wasn't advantageous for what this team is set up to do offensively. You didn't necessarily play your strengths. But the one thing I do want to say is that this is data point number 2 for Auburn football, okay? 2 games does not make a season. So it does not mean that Auburn can't get better, but you're going to have to play a hell of a lot better than you did last night for you to be able to beat Arkansas, for you to be in it against Oklahoma. And let's not even talk about what it would take to go into Athens and walk away playing championship level football, because that's what it's going to take to beat that team. So right now it's just about getting better and looking markedly better against New Mexico. But these next couple games, man, it's gotten a lot. I mean, if we have this game against if we have this game against Oklahoma, I don't think anybody's as upset as they are right now. But this was one people were counting on, right? This is one Vegas had you predicted to win by 10 points. And to lose this game in the fashion that you did, I can understand where the fan base is coming from.
I'll be quick with mine. I was glad to hear Cole say that, because I think we were standing there after the game, and I was like, what was the game plan? Like, what was the game plan going? I don't know. Like, they took the first drive, drove it down the field, 8-play drive, I believe it was, stuck in the end zone, 7-0. The one thing I wanted to see, we said it last week on all the shows that I was on, like, I wanted to see Auburn control the football game from beginning to end. I wanted to see Auburn score, hold them to a field goal, score, take a 7 to 10 point lead in the halftime, maybe outscore them 7 points in the second half, and really control the game. And it was after that first drive, it was, what are you doing? It almost looked like to me that when they weren't running the football, it was they were trying to do the same thing that they did against Alabama A&M, but they were trying to do it against Cal. And you just couldn't do that. There was no pass protection. And when there was pass protection, I felt like Peyton Thorne freaked out and took off. It was a clean pocket, I thought, a couple of times, and he got happy feet, danced around, and then just chunks it. So there was just, it's easier to talk about the bad because it's so obvious.
Yeah.
It's so obvious. But the good, I thought, like you said, Alan, the front 7, the defensive line more specifically, I'm not saying they were, awesome, but they were pretty damn good. I thought they were pretty good.
I agree.
Now, I think we're going to get a much better read on how good they are when we match up against Arkansas, because Cal was down 2 of their starters. So I want to acknowledge that right now. That was
on the offensive line.
Yeah, on the offensive line. So that wasn't a full speed Cal, but I thought they controlled gaps very well in the run game. Linebackers fit gaps like they were supposed to. And maybe, again, you don't really know because Cal wasn't full speed, but Keldrick Falk, 3 sacks in that game.
He was. That's the Keldrick like we expected to see, right?
Right. It's good to see a guy that was evaluated as a 5-star play like a 5-star, right? And then another player in K and Lee, I thought played well as a defensive back. So those grades are kind of paying their way forward, and you see the early fruits of the labor from what elite level recruiting looks like, right? Now, these guys weren't making those same contributions this time last year. So for people that may wonder where does this leave Perry Thompson or Cam Coleman after a game like this, guys, they're going to continue to get better. Okay, they are freshmen, and even though they are exceptional talents, it takes every freshman a little bit to find his footing.
I want to say one
jump
more
in
thing.
there.
When we say game plan issue, guys, that means the game plan was not good enough for Thorne. He can't do it. Okay, that's what we mean. We're not trying to avoid talking about Peyton Thorne. He can't handle that game plan. That's the problem. That's why it's a game plan issue.
Huh.
They did things that he can't handle.
Huh. Last thing for me, I would hate to look at the offensive stats from the two games against California combined. I don't know if you would even get a full game statistics between the two games Auburn played Cal the past 2 years, but I will say this, Mr. John Cohen. If you get a call from a California number wanting to schedule another game, send it to voicemail. If you get a text from California wanting to schedule a name, you reply, new phone, who dis? I don't ever want to see Auburn play California ever again. All right, let's get to the calls. Hey, before we do, remember, if you're in Auburn, Opelika, Lee County, you're looking for a house, looking to sell your house, look no further for the help you need. Miss Jessica Andrews with the Talents Group, 334-704-4442. A lot of fours in that number, Mr. Allen Head, but she is a 5-star realtor. I promise you she is. You give her a try, check her out. If you don't think she's a 5-star realtor, I'll call you liar to your face. I'll say, step across this line, big boy. She's fantastic. I promise you, you will never hear anybody say a bad word about her as a realtor. She's fantastic. Give her a call, 334-704-4442. Tell her we sent you. All right, Zach in the back, who's come to the front. I'm guessing there's a reason for that.
Oh, man, I've been looking forward to this. Let's start here. We got our guy Kevin from Wilmer. Kevin, you're live.
Kevin from Wilmer, Alabama.
What's happening, Kevin?
We should have won that game.
I agree.
Brian G believes Auburn's going to be bouncing back, Kevin. You believe him?
Yeah.
You sound a little downtrodden, Kevin.
I think we will. I think we will go 12-1 now.
Okay. Look at him.
I like it.
You can't keep him down, folks. You cannot keep him down. 12-1, Kevin. What was the best thing you took away from yesterday?
Peyton Thorne.
Yeah, you took away knowing that. You still believe in Peyton Thorne, Kevin?
We need Walker White.
There he is. Skip the 2 and 3, head right to 4. I like it, Kevin. Throw the truth first.
What's the status on Deuce Knight?
That's a great question.
It is a good question.
We're gonna get to that, Kevin. Hey, appreciate your call, big dog. We'll be looking for you next week. All right.
Okay, War Eagle.
All right, big dog. War Eagle, Kevin. War Eagle. Deuce Knight, status of Deuce Knight. Fantastic question from Kevin. Any of you recruit Nicks? Wondering about him. He was committed to Notre Dame for all catching everybody up. He visited Auburn last weekend. He returned again Saturday morning with his mother, father, brother, and sister. They spent Saturday in Auburn, spent the night Saturday night, went back to Mississippi today without having committed, at least at this point right now. I was told late last week that he is still struggling with this announcement and that he absolutely could push it back. You know, a lot of people expected him to do it Saturday. So we're kind of in a wait and see on him right now. I know things went well on his visit, as well as they could have. Listen, that game right there, you walk away going, man, we need a quarterback.
Yeah. That's, I mean, from a recruiting standpoint, there's always a way to spin it, right?
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
It's sales at the end of the day. Always be closing. And if I'm Hugh Freeze, if I'm Ken Austin, Derek Nix, I'm telling this young man, look, these are the plays we could have made if you were the quarterback, right? This is what would have been possible had you been in the game. Now, I don't mean that they're selling Peyton down the river, and I will be honest, Peyton did not play well. Like I don't want anybody to sit here and think that in any way that because I didn't jump right on him immediately that I'm endorsing the way that Peyton Thorne played. I am not. Okay. But if this is about Deuce Knight and we're trying to sell that situation, absolutely. You're looking at that and you're saying, Deuce, you can come in here and play as a true freshman.
I like it. A loss is for a rebuild. A loss is, I wouldn't say never a bad thing, but it can be sold.
It can.
It can
But
be stolen.
I just think, again, it's the totality of the season and not one game, right?
Sure.
It cannot be a 5-7 type year.
I thought
That's
Malik
that's-
Autry made a great point. He said, "Listen, that 24 classes making impacts. You got to have a couple of classes. You got to stack a couple of classes to get this thing back right." And 24 class, and the last half of 23 class, obviously, but the 24 class and this 25 class should put Auburn back on the spectrum of talent in the SEC. Good stuff, Kevin. Appreciate you calling in, big dog. Keep us going, Zach.
0701. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
Hello.
Yellow.
Hello. Hey, this is Harley JM 51 on the board.
Harley, how about you, big dog?
What's up?
The tough game to watch. First, I thought Cole's point was phenomenal about the fact that he had a system to run and Peyton doesn't fit that system, because a lot of times when you see game plan, you think, oh, that's on the coaches, but it's more it's both of their fault, kind of.
Yeah. I mean,
Go ahead. Sorry.
no, I was going to say I think at the end of the day, you can't force it. You cannot call plays that your players can execute, right? You have to call to your strengths. And I think we probably played against our strengths yesterday.
And it doesn't matter if you got guys running open. If they aren't prepared to do it, it's a bad game plan. If they aren't prepared to make the play, even if they're open, if you weren't prepared to protect it, it's not a good call.
Lisa C. How about you? Go ahead, Harley.
Big O-line guy. So watching that, there's some things, and I saw some of the slide protection. I was like, I had to put it on Peyton, because I saw there's a couple of them where they brought 6. And it was just, you're watching it, you're like, you got to pick that up. And then there's a couple of times where we had a spot. It looked like the stud was spying Peyton every time he tried to scramble, and it just no adaptation there.
Yeah, those good observations, Harley. I was wondering, probably midway through the third quarter is when I started getting frustrated with, like, where's the short and intermediate game?
Yeah.
Where's the short and intermediate passing game? And if you don't have time to go over the top like you did against Alabama A&M, where are the slants? Where are the skinny posts? And listen, to be fair, there were some. Cole, correct me if I'm wrong here. You watched it a lot more than I have. There were some there, and they were open.
Well, they probably got scared to throw it again because it hits Cam Coleman, in the body.
There you go. That sure was.
Of him and
Sure was.
And you're like, man, what can we even do at this point? It's as a coach, when you get to that and you start seeing things like that happen, you're like, well, that's out. Can't do that again. But again, and their back got against the wall, they went right to the run game.
And had success, did they not?
Well, it's what they feel comfortable with. They go, oh, well, we can block that. You don't go to things that you don't think you can block. But they did, because they got to show it, right? They got to show it to recruits. They got to show it to Deuce Knight. They got to show it to receivers. I'm just not going to hold back on that. I've felt that way for a long time. It's the whole reason why I brought up in the summer that Cal could be a problem.
Sorry, I just got my trail cam just sent me a picture.
Oh,
big old buck. I'm telling you what now, man. What was we talking about? No, I heard you go. I completely agree.
Oh, yeah.
Lord have mercy. That's a shooter right there now, fellas. All right. Good stuff, Harley. Keep us going, Zach.
5960. You're live. Who we talking to? Where you calling from?
What's going on, so?
How about you?
What's up?
what's going on, Edward?
My buddies, man, I'm over here arguing with some peasants on Facebook. I got to take a break from there.
Oh, don't do it, Edward.
Trying to call in, so man, peasants, there's some peasants, man. But how y'all doing, man?
How about you, Edward?
Doing good, man.
I call in to get my honest opinion, and I don't know how everybody gonna feel about it, but Edward don't hold back.
Nor should you.
Let us know, big dog.
Never do it.
I can give it to you straight. First thing is, I'm gonna give you facts off the top. Hugh Freeze is 7-8, starting his Auburn career. Not good. Not good. Not acceptable. Hugh Freeze has lost his last 4 FBS games at Auburn. Not good. Not acceptable. 3 of Hugh Freeze's last 4 losses have came to team against team where Auburn had the better roster. Not good. Not acceptable. Okay. Yesterday was the worst game plan, offensive game plan I've seen since Copcat with Gus. I don't understand on what are you trying to accomplish. 4th and 2 and we throw a ball 40 yards down the field.
Yeah,
I don't understand that call. I get it. You might get a pass in the field. That's a 3rd and 2 call. That's not a 4th and 2 call. Not when I got Jacquez Hunter in my backfield. Okay. I don't understand. I wasn't going to bring last year into this year, but when I'm starting to see some of the same things, maybe we scapegoated some of the wrong guys last year. See, because we pointed the finger at everybody. Philip Montgomery took the blame. He got that. Everybody 2 quarterback system. They down Rob Alford. He got that. Heaven lies ahead to wear the crown, man. And your personnel. What was Malcolm Simmons? I seen him in the game, maybe 1 or 2 plays. Either you trusting to play him or redshirted. You did the same thing with Jeremiah Cobb last year. Either you trust him to play or you redshirted. Do not mess up their career playing 1 or 2 plays in a game of offense. Don't mess up their career playing them on special teams, mother friend. Don't do that. Roll with Damari Austin that yesterday. Now, this team can win some games. But you're going about it the wrong way. You leaning on the passing game. Man, run the ball and take your deep shots when they present themselves. That's how you get to 8, 9 wins. Run the ball and take your deep shots when they present themselves. You're lining up and you're trying to throw the ball down the field, 40, 50 yards, every other play. If you do that SEC play, guess what? We might go 5-7. We might not even make a bowl game. If that's going to be your offensive game plan. I'm going to say it's time for somebody to shit or get off the pot, man. Either shit or get off the pot. And that's coming from me. This ain't nobody's view but mine. It is because this is 3rd time in the last 4 games against FBS opponents that I've seen a team show up offensively and they weren't prepared. They lackadaisical. They come out, they just got through running 10 miles. They're step slow, no energy, no juice. I saw a Cal team come from all the way across the country and come into Jordan House Stadium and play with more energy in the first half than Auburn did. If you're struggling to get your team prepared, that's a bad sign. That's a bad omen of things to come. And I'm not here to talk hot seat talk. I'm not here to say Hugh Freeze. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I told y'all a month ago when I called in, it was one thing that Hugh Freeze could not afford to do. And I'd be damned if you didn't come out and do it early in the season. And that would have a bad game inside Jordan House Stadium.
Lay an egg.
They say, well, it's early in the season. Well, that's a good thing and that's a bad thing. Because you know what that means? You can't afford to have another one this year. Well, Cole is exactly right. Year 3. Year 3, we're going to be looking one way or another. Maybe we're going to get better. Or your year 4, you're going to go into it. You done turn the seat warm on. Now, I know Auburn fans. You heard Boo Birds at the end of that game. I'm not here to bash Peyton Thorne. I don't believe in bashing players because guess what? Who put him in the game? Who keeping him in the game?
He tied the horses to that part.
Here. Maybe a couple throws were bad, but yeah, that happened. But what did that say to a Hank or the guy behind them that if somebody in front of me can have this bad a game and you not willing to even give me a try? What message did that send to your recruits? See, because what to me, one thing Hugh Freeze had done on an Auburn football field that you can be so not positive about. One thing outside of recruits that he had done. Hugh Freeze, his second year, you starting out worse than Brian Lawson did. Outside of recruiting. I'm just talking about what you see on the field. Well, he played a close game against Alabama. So did Brian Harper. Without Bo Nick, with TJ Finley, playing against Bryce Young. took them to 4 overtime. We're gonna hang your hat on that. I hadn't seen. I'm looking because this team has a chance to win some games, but that was coaching yesterday. DJ Durkin. I like the fact that you was able to go and adjust at halftime. I love it.
He did.
The whole 3-5 with Jalen McLeod lined up, covering folks 10 yards out there, like your damn safety. That's bad defensive game planning. As an offensive coordinator, if I look out here and see 35 out there, man to man on a tight end way out here, oh, I'm excited. You're helping the opposing offensive coordinator out to line him way up out there because guess what? He's not effective out there. When he changed the defense and went back to the 4-man front with McLeod and Falk. Play your young boy, Malik Brockton. Brockton, Rake, Falk, and McLeod. That's your front four. You got your front four. I like how you adjust. I got to give you credit for that. But one was Malcolm Simmons. I don't know what Perry hurt. Sam Jackson. What was all these guys? Either you're going to trust them to play and live with them making mistakes, or you're not. Because, okay, you stand for yourself, you. Hell, let's land the wrong route. So, hell, is that the case? In crunch time. That's what you say. He should have been running a bank post. But that's the case. Hell, I have to be letting my freshmen do that, run wrong routes. And my whole thing was, I don't think we'll lose a game with Hank Brown that we wouldn't have lost with Payne Thorne. I'm saying this, if you're going to be a 6-6 or a 7-5 ball team, it benefits you none heading into next year to start Payne Thorne. That's my only thing. If I'm going to lose, I'd rather take my lumps of bruises with my young quarterback instead of having to throw him into the fire next year. You might want to let them grow together. If that be the case, because it's not benefiting you none to have him on the sideline, the guy in front of him throwing 4 picks. You're going to have to turn around and start him next year, 9 times out of 10. So, if that's the case, but I'll go back and Hank Brown to the fence. With the game plan you had yesterday, it don't matter who you got at quarterback. The game plan was bad. So, to me, it's just bad game planning. This whole idea to throw it up, Cam Coleman down there somewhere. No, you don't. No. If that's what we're going to do, I'm sorry to say it. You won't last long at Auburn with that mentality. You got to scheme some plays open, man. Just throw it up 8 down there somewhere. It ain't going to work like that. SEC defense is going to take 8 away from you. You're going to have to come up with somebody else. You think they're just going to let you do that? They're not going to do that. So, the RPO, running the ball from the RPO. Well, your offensive line is pass blocking. They don't know he to hand the ball off for the majority of the time. So you're not getting a lot of points in an RPO running game. Scratch some of that. Scratch some of that RPO stuff. Line up, run the ball. You got 3 damn running backs. Run the ball. Take your shots when you get a chance. And shit or get off the clock. That's what I was, man.
Put that mic down, Edward, and just walk away.
That is a definite mic drop moment for sure. And I won't disagree with a lot of what Edward had to say as it
I
pertains
completely
to,
agree.
Yeah. Go ahead. No. You guys go ahead and jump in.
I was going to say, I agree with if it's going to be bad anyway, it begs the question, why not try Hank Brown at this point?
Sure. I think here's the thing. I understand Edward's point, and I think it's a valid one. And I think at a minimum, what playing Hank would do is create transparency, right? We talked about this on the football show earlier today, that just look at Alabama this time last year when Jalen Milroe struggled against Texas.
Yeah.
And then Saban allowed the offensive coordinator to play who was the transfer from Notre Dame?
Tyler Buckner.
Tyler Buckner. He lets Buckner play against South Florida. They kind of play with their food a little bit in that game, look terrible, and they go back to Jalen Milroe the next week. So to give Hank that opportunity against New Mexico, very similar to South Florida, you get an opportunity to see, okay, is he somebody that can execute this game at a high level? Or is this a situation where Peyton Thorne honestly gives us the best opportunity to win? So I don't think it's ever a situation where it's bad to create transparency between your fan base and your donor base and what's going on within your football program.
I totally agree with that, and I think that's something they could look at and try to do against New Mexico. I mean, like Edward said, like y'all said, if it's going to be bad, why not try the other guy to see if he can get any better? But also, you know, I think I've seen a game plan that's worked with Peyton Thorne at quarterback before. So I know it can happen. You can call it a fluke, but I know it can happen. So that tells me a lot. That tells me that there was a game plan issue, and maybe he can't do it. But I've seen Auburn be close in a game they shouldn't have been close in twice because of a game plan and how well it was formulated. So that tells me it can be done again no matter who's at quarterback.
I agree wholeheartedly on that point because to me, it comes down to the cornerstone of who do you want to be on offense, right? What do you think you do best and what gives you the best opportunity to win?
Right.
Again, do not sacrifice substance for style points, right? At the end of the day, get the win, get the W.
And that might mean taking a lot of this, hey, you got to read here, or you're going to have to make a pre-snap read. Hey, this is the read after the snap. Taking that away from him and just making things solid, blocking a read man instead of reading them, taking that off of his plate might make him a lot better player. I think that happened with Bo Nix a lot when he was at Auburn. There were some things he just couldn't do. They had to dumb it down a little bit, and they had to take some things out of there.
No, I mean, I
not
think
necessarily a compliment to Peyton Thorne or Bo Nix, but that's what they had to do.
Sure. And obviously, Bo was young and continued to improve. I think the difference is Peyton is obviously in his fifth year. And so that's the frustration point for a lot of people. At what point do you just accept Peyton Thorne is what he is? Like we talked about last week, you know, with DJU. DJ just is what he is. And don't ask him to do things he can't do. Don't ask Peyton to do things he can't do. And if you think that he's the quarterback that gives you the best opportunity to win, build your game plan around his strengths. Like you said, Cole, we have seen, I mean, it was a running-centric scheme with vertical shots down the field. Yeah.
Well, you remember what we called it? It was this Service Academy offense.
That's definitely what it was underneath Robbie. I think that felt like they had a little bit more passing flavor last year when Thorne was doing that. I mean, because you look at Vanderbilt, Mississippi State, Arkansas, I think he threw for over 200 in each of those games, but it was a heavy dose of the running game, and then they were able to set play action up off of it. Limited the reads. And so it's a different offense from what they tried to do, like what they tried to accomplish yesterday, which again, I don't know what the hell they were trying to accomplish at certain parts of it. The game planning just didn't make the play calling lack nuance. I didn't understand what they were trying to set up conceptually at times. But anyway, we need to get to our next caller. I can do this all night.
4220. You're live. Who are we talking to? Where are you calling from?
Hey, y'all. This is Austin from Pass Christian, Mississippi.
How about you, Austin?
I first time caller. Wanted to say thank you first off for y'all are kind of a moderating voice and talked me off the ledge a few times both last year and this year. So thank y'all for that. But I wanted to echo what Hoke had said a little bit earlier in the show y'all published earlier today. That you can kind of jump around, stomp your feet, all that, but at the end of the day, I know for myself and a lot of the other kind of younger fan base and the younger alumni that I kind of associate with, we just feel like Garth Brooks, man. We just feel like we're much too young to feel this old. We're tired and we just want something to kind of change. And
sure,
it's no fault of Hughes, right? That he's kind of inheriting this situation that Harsin laid at his feet, and he's kind of lucky that we're in a time frame now where the portal affords him the opportunity to fix a roster faster. But at the same time, that's a double-edged sword, right? Now the expectation is that he's going to fix it faster. And I still think that the time needs to be given to him to get the roster where it needs to be. But I understand that we're an impatient fan base, and sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes it's not. But I just wanted to hear y'all's thoughts on kind of the overall mood of the fan base, and everywhere from, I know there's a lot of far people on either side of it, and then there's a fair amount in the middle. So I'll hang up and listen. Thank y'all.
Great call.
Good stuff, Austin.
That was a fantastic call. Well, a big problem right now is that the fan base is very downtrodden. Okay, they're it. Boy, they're in bad shape right now. And one thing I noticed too, and I said it a little bit last year. I got to thinking about it again today with watching this Cal game again. Hugh Freeze seems very uptight, and I think it reflects on his team. They don't play like they're the team with nothing to lose, because really and truly, they're not. They have a lot to lose. They have a very big recruiting class to hold on to. The best, we've seen in recent memory, right?
Sure.
They know the pressure that Auburn fans can put on them. Okay. Cal comes in, they ain't got nothing to lose. They play loose. They got no worries. And it's just not a good recipe. It's an impossible task almost to be in the situation that you're in where Hugh Freeze is taking over this rebuild. He's in the middle of it. He's trying to show the people that are going to give him money. I think Justin made a great point on that earlier. There's money involved now. It gets even more political. And they want to see return on their investments. So they're pushing and pushing and pushing, and the fan base is pushing. So he's stressed, son. And I think his team reflects it. They look stressed. They don't look like they're having fun. They don't look like they can chill out and just execute.
I understand where the fan base is coming from. I truly do.
Oh, me too.
You're talking 4 straight seasons of 6 wins or less. This is a fan base that is very proud, has championship level aspiration. I get it. So to be frustrated about the outcome of yesterday would not be abnormal. It would be normal, in my opinion. Now, that said, what I would advocate for is the understanding that Hugh Freeze inherited a massive mess from a roster construction standpoint. Yeah. Now, that doesn't mean that the game plan couldn't have been better yesterday. That doesn't mean that there are things that couldn't have been handled differently. I think there needs to be a level of accountability from the head coach as far as that is concerned. But if it's a situation where people are already frustrated and they're talking about moving on from Hugh Freeze or anything of that nature, you've taken it way too far.
Yeah.
This is a rebuild. There is no other way around it. This is a rebuild. This is what it is. And for people that thought that 10 wins was possible, I'm going to get crushed for this in the comments. I know it's coming. It was never 10 wins, okay? When I said it was 7 or 8, I meant that because I knew that your best players on this roster were young players. Young players are going to make mistakes. It's just going to happen. And with the amount of transition that Auburn had and has had, you have not had the opportunity to build the continuity and the togetherness, and the culture has not all come together just yet the way it needs to be for Auburn to be the championship contender that this fan base deserves and wants. Okay? There is more to go there. So I would encourage from my seat to you to be patient. Don't accept what happened yesterday. Like that is not the standard, nor should it ever be. But do understand that there's more to go here. That this team will not be what it was yesterday. It can get better, okay? And if it's not better at the end of the season, I'll be the first one to say it. But I think you have to give it some time and space and allow it the opportunity to continue to progress.
Good stuff, Austin. Appreciate you calling in, big dog. Don't be a stranger.
Yeah, 6653. You're live. Who are we talking to? Where are you calling from?
Dylan from Tampa.
Ooh, Dylan. What's on your mind tonight, Dylan?
Well, I've only been able to have either the phone or YouTube up, and I haven't been able to have both. So if any of these questions have been asked already, just ignore them. But I had 3. for you real quick. My first
Shotgun.
one was the run game was super interesting. We heard all offseason about how Malcolm Simmons and Sam Jackson were just these burners, and it's been when we watched with Cal, we just saw no sweeps, no pitches. It was always just running between the tackles left and right. And so I want to get you guys' take on that. Is there a reason we're not being more creative with misdirection or just having creativity on the run game? The second one was with the boosters. You guys obviously are on the inside and hear stuff like this, but are the boosters can they get fatigued, like with the coaching staff going to these boosters, for like Percy Lewis, and let's just say that he was worth $300,000, and someone puts up that $300,000 and just sees him absolutely bust, or Peyton Thorne. Are these boosters getting fatigued over time of putting up money for players, or can they get fatigued, and is that a concern for this staff?
Let's see. Good stuff, Dylan. What do you think, Cole?
Creativity in the run game. I thought that there was some as they got into that second half and actually started driving again. I saw GT counter, GH counter, GHQ counter. I've got those all. We had a jet sweep with Jeremiah Cobb. So you had some things there that were a little different that they started going to when their back was against the wall. Like we said earlier, they went to things they're comfortable with, things they know they can execute. And so a little bit of creativity. The problem was too little, too late. Way too late. That was the problem.
Go ahead, Cole.
What you got?
The K and Lee interception. That would have been the save. That would have been the Auburn Cal of last year, where Auburn looked anemic on offense and still found a way to win.
Yeah.
But I was reminded, that's why he plays cornerback, because you put your best athletes who can't catch at cornerback. Y'all ever heard that?
100%.
Yes.
Oh, gosh, man, what a play that would have been!
Wow, that would have.
Yeah,
that hurt.
Listen, he lost sleep over it. He did.
I'm sure.
Yes. Yeah. That hurt.
As far as paying NIL for specific players, or does that create donor fatigue when players that are potentially high NIL earners, because I don't have their deal in front of me, so I don't know exactly what any one of those guys receives in NIL. To my understanding of the way OTV works, donors don't donate for specific players. They give lump sums to OTV to be dispersed the way OTV sees fit, right? And or, what is brokered for them by their agent or parent or what have you. Do I think donor fatigue is happening? Absolutely. I think it happens at Auburn. I think it happens at every university around the country. I think that's why I've tracked the House case settlement so closely, because the people that I speak to thought this was a way for football and basketball teams to generate internal revenue and not be so dependent upon donor dollars. I think that's always there's going to be a place for that. And that was the pushback as to why they're taking a 3-week hiatus and trying to figure out some verbiage, is that collectives are in this space now. They're not going to go away. But I think not needing to utilize their money as much to be competitive is something that is very much wanted in this space by coaches. Not that it's bad. It just comes with expectation, right? And sometimes it's expectation that you can't always deliver as soon as you accept that money, because everybody accepts the championship. There's taking money from somebody and getting an L. I mean, that's just there's not a lot of understanding that comes with that, right?
Well, real quick, and we'll get to the next caller. I think there's always going to be fatigue until there are returns on the investment, right? Hey, I paid a lot of money. I want to see this. I want to see return from this, and I don't want to see it next year. I want to see it today. Why am I footing this money if it's not going to pay off, right? I obviously with Harsin, there was just no support there because he was not giving them any results, especially in recruiting. Freeze is giving them results in recruiting, so I think they see that as, hey, that's positivity. They go, well, we'll see. Let's see this out. I think there's some good alignment there. But you know, at the same time, it's like, I mean, they had a chance to go get a quarterback, like one of these high dollar quarterbacks. Do you think that would have been? It would have been a risk at the time, but does it pay off more? I mean, you know, everything's a calculated risk, right?
High risk, high reward there.
Very much so.
00372. You're live. Who are we talking to? Where are you calling from?
What's going on, guys? This is Lane from Prattville, Alabama.
What's going on, Lane?
Pratt Vegas.
Yes, sir. Pratt Vegas, home of the current 3-0 Prattville Lions.
Oh,
How about
I'm telling you what. The Prattville Lions are hot.
And we've been looking good lately. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying Friday nights, but right now Saturdays are a bit iffy.
You know, back in '92, when I could throw a football over that mountain,
quarter mile,
Prattville and Minor had a big scuttlebutt.
Oh,
yeah, it was a big fight. You're probably too young to remember that, Lane.
Did you have a mustache like Uncle Rico when you threw that thing?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I've been living in Prattville almost my whole life, man. Whenever I was young, man, we were winning state championships every year, like late 2000s.
Yeah,
Bill Clark era, yes, sir.
Yeah, Bill Clark. There you go.
That OC there was pretty good, I heard.
Oh, yeah, he wasn't half bad, was he, Cole?
I think he was decent.
Who?
I'd be,
Cole,
oh, for real? Oh, Coach Pink.
The real Coach Pinkston.
All right. He was a dog.
He knew how to call it.
Oh, yeah, guys. So, I've got like just a couple of, questions, that, I mean, I've been watching the show for pretty much, I'd say like pretty much since the beginning of the Hugh Freeze era. So I watch every single show, whether it's recruiting, post game. And so I've been watching so far, and I know like a lot of the same questions and same statements are being made. So
that's all right.
So, I mean, initial reaction to the game yesterday was, just like, I watched Hugh Freeze's post-game interview, and he said he's going to have to go back and watch film and, then make a decision on the quarterback situation. And then, but my reaction to that is like, when is enough?
Yeah.
I mean, nothing was shown last year that was like nothing. I mean, we saw flashes last year, right? Against Arkansas. Man, that Arkansas game was beautiful.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, there's just, the second half, in my opinion, of the Cal game yesterday was really my breaking point with Peyton. I've tried to give him benefit of the doubt, but the second half was rough. And, after yesterday, I just think we need to give Hank a chance, man. Because, so my basis of this goes back all the way back to the Brian Harsin era. In my opinion, this was the best decision Harsin made while he was at Auburn. So during that Georgia State game in 2021, the one that we almost lost, he benched Bo Nix. And then the very next week, he brought him back. Harsin brought Bo Nix back as the starter. And ever since in his football career, Bo has been a different man. I mean, he looked better in the pocket. So, and this goes back to what Cole said earlier on the show, like maybe Thorne is like, the best option at quarterback. So what if we need to just sit him for like a week, let him, just let Hank get his touches, and then maybe, kind of let Peyton get that reset. And so I just want to see what y'all's perspective is on that.
I like it, Lane. I appreciate your call, man. And let me ask you fellas real quick thoughts on that. But what is your argument to stick with Peyton Thorne? If somebody says, I mean, what side of the argument are you on? And what is your defense of leaving Peyton Thorne in there? Like, why?
I think I'm on the play Hank against New Mexico game. I think that's where I'm at with it. I think you need to show the fan base what you have in Hank Brown. And in addition to that, I don't think it's ever bad. Look, Peyton's got 3 years worth of game film plus 2 from the start of this season. You know what he is at this point. You have all the information that you need. Right?
Unfortunately, the new wide receivers, the talent upgrade around him didn't do anything.
Right. You know what I
Or
mean?
hasn't yet.
It hasn't yet. And maybe that's a cohesion thing. I don't know. Maybe there's some things to iron out there. But for me, I don't think there's harm in the New Mexico game letting Hank get significant snaps against their ones and see what you have. Because if you have an injury,
Yes.
he's who you're going to anyway, right? So you might as well figure out a little bit more about what you have. And two, it creates transparency with the fan base so they can see, hey, this is what your number 2 quarterback is. This is what his limitations are. This is where he excels.
Right.
And if you're going to make an argument for Peyton Thorne, it's because at the end of the day, what Hugh Freeze thinks the whole team, not one player, not 2 players, the whole offense runs better because Peyton can do this. If Peyton is the quarterback that can accomplish the objectives that best fit this team, right? Conceptually speaking, if doing the things that Peyton does best are what is in the best interest of the team and they help you score the most points, Peyton Thorne needs to stay your starting quarterback and build a game plan around what he does best. But if he's not, and Hank Brown goes out there against New Mexico and he tears it up and you think you can play differently with what plays to his strengths, then you got to go with that at that point, right? But to me, this is a low risk situation, honestly, because I don't think that Hank is going to go out there and lose to New Mexico. I don't. Now, let me say this. New Mexico's head coach is somebody I have a lot of respect for. Bronco Mendenhall is a fantastic football coach. He's had winning programs at BYU and Virginia. Both were bottom dwellers when he took over those programs, and he flipped them around into winning programs. So you can't play with your food too much in this game. But I do believe that Hank is talented enough to win this game without a lot of heartburn.
Cole, one thing that Edward said that really stuck out to me is there a game on this schedule that Auburn can win because of you're playing Peyton Thorne and not Hank Brown?
I mean, that's hard to answer because I don't have a lot of.
There you go.
I don't have a lot on Brown, but we were joking on the other show. Call it the Brucey method. If you've ever seen The Longest Yard, right? When he's like, "Hey, coach, why can't I play quarterback?" And he goes, "Oh, here's the ball. Throw it to me." And he throws it over his head. That's kind of what you need. I'm in the camp of doing that, right? Give Hank Brown a shot. Let's see how it is.
Yes,
and not a 2 quarterback system.
Right.
He gets the whole game. This is not a revolving door. This is Hank Brown gets every single snap in that game.
And, well, I'm going to back up on that a little bit. He gets every snap until you think that situation is losable, right? Like if you get down to that.
Oh, really? You would put Thorne back in? I'm with you, Cole. I'm riding him out, big dog.
I'd ride it out. Then I'd turn and I'd say, "All right, there you go. There's your boy."
Yeah, you think it's hot, you think it's hot right now to lose that game to New Mexico?
Yeah,
I know. Listen,
New Mexico to prove a point is the best way to get fired.
Yeah, I'm with Zach on this, right?
According to everybody, it can't get any worse.
Me and Cole stubborn as hell. By God, we'll lose to Mexico just to prove our point.
Yeah, crazy. If he loses to New Mexico because he won't bench Hank Brown, they're gonna fire him on the field.
But Zach, haven't you read? It can't get any worse at Auburn. You've read that, right?
Oh, it can get worse. Yeah, it can get. You lose to New Mexico, watch how bad it gets.
But my point was that, Cole, is like, and Alan said it too, is like we've got 2 drives against Maryland, a couple of 8A performances. Like put him in there. Let's see what you got in him. Is he worse? Is he throwing 5 interceptions against Cal?
You just don't know right now, right?
You just don't know.
And
so you don't know that Auburn would lose or win more.
I think you need to know.
Right.
I think you need to know.
That's what my whole point was. I want to know. Maybe me being selfish, but I want to know.
No, I mean, I think the coaching staff needs to know at this point, right?
Yeah, I think so too.
You know what you have in Peyton. You know what you have. There's no question about it.
Yes.
You know how to build a successful game plan around him because you have done it.
Right.
Okay.
That's very important. That is very important.
Right. And you haven't built one around Hank at this point. And so this is the thing I will say about the quarterback position is that sometimes guys that don't practice exceptionally well in practice, when they get underneath the lights, they just elevate their play
Turn
and
it
they elevate the play of those around them. Randy Campbell, and this is coming from Pat Dye's mouth, not mine, probably couldn't have played in any other system in the country, but he excelled in that 83 season in a way that not a lot of guys could have, with the pressure that Pat put on him to execute the option the way that he did. Okay? Sometimes you just got to see what another guy can do. And then if it does not work, or if it's a situation that looks as though Peyton is the better option, you go back to it. And if it's mixed, then I don't know what you do, right? But it's just it creates transparency. Transparency with your fan base is not a bad thing at this point, in my opinion. Now, maybe Hugh Freeze disagrees and he goes back and he looks at the film and says, we did this wrong, and this wrong. I'm going to continue to support Peyton.
Well, we all know the most popular man on the team.
Backup quarterback.
Backup quarterback. Always.
Always the most popular guy on the team.
No doubt. Yeah, I'm a fan favorite.
Good stuff, Lane. Got us talking, big dog.
7949. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
What's up, guys? This is E Maximus from the corner message boards. How we doing?
Oh, E Maximus.
What's going on, brother?
What's going on, guys? Are y'all tired of seeing Hugh Freeze look like scared to death? Kind of like he's almost more afraid than Peyton Thorne is. Like he's just red faced, kind of scared.
Cole, is that what you were kind of alluding to earlier?
I'm tired of it, but it ain't gonna change as long as all this pressure's on him.
Yeah, I mean, you want to see a little fire out of Hugh. Like if you're down, you're losing to a team that most people think you should beat, and I don't know, maybe throw your headset, cuss somebody out, do something,
Pull the Will Muschamp.
Well, my favorite part of last week against Alabama A&M was him chewing ass Peyton Thorne when they were up 39 to,
I know
0. That was my favorite part of the game.
It's because they were comfortable.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah.
I mean, that was kind of, you think about like Saban tearing up a McCarron or something, they're up by 30 points. I don't know. I want to see a little fire from my head coach when we're losing to a, if not inferior, at least on your level team,
Sure. I like it.
But anyway, also Keontae, he needs to go back to the slot because he's not a outside corner. Sorry.
I agree with that. I'm not trying to bag on Keontae. Nope. I think he's a natural nickel. I honestly do.
All right, who goes to corner then?
I don't know. Figure it out.
Yeah,
He's spoken like a true fan, E-Max. I hear you, big dog.
Figure it out.
Well, it ain't him. Figure it out.
7 targets, 7 passes given up. I mean, hey.
Wow. Was he 0 for 7? Keontae was 0 for 7?
Yeah, not a lot of.
He was targeted 7 times and he, allowed 7 catches. Maybe I read that wrong. I thought I saw that stat. But anyway, either way, not good. But
all right.
I don't know, guys. Just frustrating game. Maybe we'll figure it out.
Well, I do like the point of seeing your head coach a little bit more fire in him.
I do. Yeah. Like that.
I think you got to know when to turn it on and when to turn it off, though.
Do you think Hugh Freeze has more of a ho hum attitude? Like even his post game presser, it was like, ho hum.
What do you say? What do you say?
I think in that situation, what I saw was somebody emotionally drained after that game.
It was drained, yeah.
He is
drained.
Completely and utterly emotionally drained. And probably, obviously, I think he was conscious enough in that moment to realize that I just lost a game I shouldn't have, right? Like, I think you could see that kind of setting in on his face, like I just lost when I shouldn't. He didn't go full-blown Gus after LSU, where they ran the ball like 30 straight times in the second half, and Gus goes, well, it's not the end of the world. We lose. Like, Freeze was conscious of the fact that the fan base is already running hot on this.
Yeah, I think he's aware. I think he's more aware than, most.
God, it's a tough job.
Yeah, it is, man.
It's a tough job.
It is a tough job, but at the same time, dude, this is where money in college football has changed a lot, right? Because there's not a lot of empathy from fans when they see that you're winning, that you're getting $6.5 million a year.
Not for players either.
No, and not
Right.
for players either. And you know that you're going to have a buyout that can give you potentially generational wealth for the rest of your life. So the level of empathy that used to exist, I feel like there is a very thin margin there now.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
Good stuff, E-Max. Appreciate you calling, big dog.
Last caller of the night,
Make it a good one.
3173. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
Savion from Lynette, Alabama.
Savion from Lynette. How about you, big dog?
How y'all doing, man?
We doing pretty good. How you doing?
I'm all right, I guess.
Sound a little down.
Yeah.
Hey, I was in attendance at the game, man.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Yeah, that was my first game in a while, but I actually went went down there and I was not expecting that, Keontae Scott getting killed the whole game, and we couldn't cover the flats to save our lives.
Yeah, that was tough.
That tight end release.
But the defense, they came alive second half, but they did.
They did.
They adjusted.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what in the world he was looking at, but I don't know, man. I was just stretched out the whole game, man, and I don't know, bro. Just let me down for real, but I pray and hope we can make some changes. I do have one question though.
All right.
If you're Deuce Knight, how are you feeling right now?
That's a good question.
If I'm Deuce Knight, I'm feeling like Notre Dame just lost to Northern Illinois.
Yep. Yeah, that's the best thing that happened to Auburn yesterday.
Best thing about Saturday.
It didn't hurt, did it?
Auburn lost to Cal, a respectable program.
Yeah.
Even though they took one of their best players from them in the offseason, upgraded talent all across the board, and then lost at home to a team they beat on the road last year. Let's don't forget that.
Drive that knife in the back a little bit further. Keep on going with it.
Upgraded across the board and just separated themselves from Cal talent-wise, taking one of their best players from them who didn't – I don't even know if I heard his name mentioned Saturday.
I didn't see him much.
I thought I saw him on 2 snaps.
Upgraded.
Yeah.
And then laid a big egg. Savion, he says something else that was really good. Shit. Savion, you still here, big dog?
No, we just closed the call line.
Okay, hold on. What did he say?
I don't know. I heard him, but I don't know what you're
Oh, I think it was about the way you don't. It was. He didn't see it coming. It was tough to watch all day Saturday.
Yeah.
Oh, Deuce Knight.
Yeah. How's Deuce Knight?
Deuce Knight. How you feel? Okay, so it takes us back to my man. We got off track, didn't we?
Big time.
So if you're Deuce Knight and you're committed to Notre Dame and you visited Auburn the past 2 Saturdays, you see you see Auburn lose to Cal and you go, oh man. Then you look over at the scoreboard and you see Northern Illinois beat Notre Dame at home, and you're going, it's a wash.
Yeah.
And listen, and this, to be fair, it's probably more beneficial that Deuce was at Auburn's game. And Cole mentioned this on the board. Even though I thought the crowd stunk Saturday, no offense, Savion, the recruits don't see that. They don't see that.
Yeah, that's what I meant, by the way, on the board.
You said it right. And I had to go back in there and clarify what I was saying. Because me and Christian Clemente, we were walking through the tunnel after the third quarter, going to the recruiting lounge to start catching some recruits leaving. And I was like, hey, Christian, let's walk on the field real quick and see the fourth quarter light show or whatever. And we walked out there on the north end zone, and they played like, Living on a Prayer or something. And
your favorite.
Yeah. And then it was like the band started playing, and I was like, where's all the hype? And it was fan cameras, and it was kids dancing, and it's like, what is going on here? The corners of the upper deck were empty at the beginning of the game. Now it was, I don't know, man, the vibe. And of course, this was 3 quarters of frustration for these fans, but even from the get go, I didn't feel it. But then you talk to the recruits, and it was, man, the environment was great. The offense sucked.
I didn't get the, you know,
Yeah.
you're kind of out there. I'm in the press box that's soundproof, which I hate.
Oh, that sucks. They don't open the windows anymore either, do they?
Can't.
Off. I can't stand
Can't
it.
open them, I don't think.
Oh, you can't. Oh, they don't open. They used to open.
No, you can't open them anymore.
that was back when you guys were in the center, right? And
You're
then
right.
When you moved to the Lego in the sky over there.
The double wide.
Yeah. The
Can't
double
open
wide in the sky.
windows.
Nope.
But no, you can't hear it much up there. But I thought pregame it was decent. It felt like it was going to be okay. And then, yeah, I mean, you're right. It could have been much better. But what like you said, I was trying to make the point that the recruits felt like it was good.
And that's all
important.
that matters when it comes to recruiting. It was Anthony Jones and all.
Important for the younger guys, but I mean, but that's what I was trying to make the point with Deuce here. I think once you get to his situation, it's not so much about, oh, the crowd was great or Auburn won or lost. It was, all right, how am I going to fit here?
All right.
And I think if he's looking at the offense, he's going, well, they threw the ball a lot.
Yeah, could I make those throws?
Because I mean, I have a theory that may be wrong. I mean, somebody from Auburn might call me an idiot, but I think they're trying to throw the ball more because they want recruits to see it.
Of course, it's not even recruits as it is the quarterback that's there in the. I mean, like, to me, it was very on the nose as far as what they were trying to accomplish with one specific recruit in the house, right?
And Hugh likes to throw the football anyways.
Sorry.
P. Marsh.
Well, I was not expecting to read that one up.
Private chats undefeated, big dog.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Oh, Dutch oven.
Anyway, you get what I'm saying there, right?
If somebody, hold on, everybody listening, they don't know what we're talking about. We're talking about
they don't have to know.
If somebody had a little toot slip out, you can't open the windows.
If somebody did, yeah.
Yes, if somebody.
Anyway, quarterbacks, I think they take a totally different approach to recruiting. It's one of the reasons why I don't trust them when making picks and things of that nature. I think they're generally very nice guys who get along with a lot of people, popular people, and they have a hard time, making decisions for that reason because everybody wants them.
Yeah,
that plays into it as well. But I think look, I mean, when you're watching the game and you see that that guy's confident in his abilities. Okay, he's not going, oh, I don't know about that. He's going, I can make that play. Give me that play. I'll throw a touchdown on that play. Is probably what he's thinking. So I think in that regard, Auburn's probably okay. I don't know if Auburn's in like terrible shape for him now just because they lost the game. I think he probably looked at the offense and thought, well, that looked okay to me for what I want to do in college. Now that's where it brings up the very, very tough call you have to make if you're Hugh Freeze. Do you keep trying to show that you're working and actively working to improve your passing game, or do you go back to what works for you and try to win ball games?
Ooh, it's such a fine line, Cole, right?
You got to win ball games. That's the bottom line, right?
You have to win ball games. But I think you do have to make an evaluation about, what's best long-term for the health of your program. 100% you got to win, right? I don't think there's any question about that. But stylistically, to me, I've always been the guy that you play to your strengths regardless. But I do think there's something to be said for continuing to develop and cultivate the wide receiver talent on this roster, because I do think you have some really intriguing young pieces, and you have to figure out a way to keep them involved.
Right.
But can you do it through the play action RPO game? But like you said, put some more design run in. Some of the run game that they used last year, specifically in the Georgia and the Alabama game, I thought was just exceptionally well called and well timed. A lot of utilization of eye candy, and I would love to see them kind of go back to that if that's what you're going to end up having to do, if that is the strong suit. But again, figuring out a way to throw it down the field, I think you've got to have those receivers involved in some capacity to continue to sell that moving forward.
I'm not saying going, but yeah, I'm with you. I don't say go back to Service Academy offense. You got to throw the ball,
Right.
but play more to your strengths, like you said, and from a rhythm standpoint, I think it's very
Yes.
important to run the ball because that's what you're good at. You don't want to get behind the chains, and I think this is very, very important. You take a lot off of Peyton Thorne's plate or the quarterback's
Yes.
plate when you do that, and right now that's the move, if you ask me.
Best friend of a struggling quarterback is a solid running game. And I'm not
Absolutely.
I mean, or a young quarterback. If you're going to play Hank, you
Yep.
better damn sure run the football, right? Because that gives him an opportunity to make some easier reads.
And I think the first half, I think it was, and don't quote me because I don't have it pulled up, but I think it was 3 runs in the first half.
Probably all on that first drive.
Yeah, and I think Jarquez had like 3 yards on 3 runs too, if we're being completely honest. I mean, I don't know exactly what happened, what they were doing. They were moving the front a little bit or what they were doing, but they gave us some problems. And I don't know if it was because it was a read situation and not a dedicated run call, so the offensive line wasn't necessarily all dialed in on what they needed to do. But the running game just where they didn't give it the opportunity, A, and 2, they didn't get the movement that they needed, I felt like, to continue to push it in the first quarter either.
Right. I agree with that. That's because what defense would not come out and load the box against you and send the house? What defense would not do that? That's somebody who wants to lose a game.
Sure.
There's no reason in the world not to play Auburn University right now and not send the house at them.
No, I agree. But once they lighten the box like Cal did, you got to go to start trying to run it right down their
On the
throat.
first
Right?
drive, you hit a hitch and go, and they go, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Let's don't forget that the same team last year that looked awful, that looked cheeks at Cal, ended up having a fairly successful season, took Georgia down to the wire, took Bama down to the wire. So all is not lost.
Not
yet.
at all.
No,
I mean, I think the only game you got blown out, I mean, like truly blown out, LSU, right?
Yes.
Right.
And every other game,
never in that game.
Never. Right. But every other game you were competitive, you were scrappy. And so this team can get better and improve. You're right, Jay Lee.
So let's don't forget that, folks. Don't jump off that ledge yet, Austin. Jump it off. All right, we're going to be back, man. We're going to have shows all week. We are full on schedule, in-season schedule, man. We've got shows. If you're not already subscribed to the Auburn Live YouTube Plus, go do that, $2.99 a month. We've got some really good shows all week long, and we'll be back Wednesday with a recruiting show. We'll go a little bit more in depth on recruiting. We'll probably have a recruiting insider at some point this week. Wouldn't be a bad week to do that. Got some things to talk about. We've got the modcast coming later this week. I think Justin will have another football show. So a lot going on. Auburn Live.
A film room as well.
Oh, I'm telling you, folks, you want to know what's going on? Subscribe to Auburn Live YouTube Plus. Watch Pink's film room later this week. When's that coming out, Cole?
Well, I have to talk to Zach, but we try to record it Monday night, put it up Tuesday morning. I think that's what we did last time. So and I think I figured out how to get the cursor on the play so I can actually kind of show you. And I'm not trying to be the authority on that stuff, man. I that's the biggest mistake you can make in our position is act like you know it all. I don't. I just want to talk through it with you guys and see, tell you what I'm seeing, and maybe we learn something along the way.
Cole, as a watcher, that's what I appreciate about you. It's not like, let me tell y'all what's going on here and what they should have done.
I'm not in the huddle. I'm not in the meeting room. How would I know? How would anybody know?
Right. I'm telling you, man, that's worth the price of admission right there, folks. Get signed up. Auburn Live, YouTube Plus. You hit that join button. It's Apple Pay. It's real easy, $3 a month. And I promise you it'll be worth it after this week of shows, of the roster we've got put forth for you this week. All right, that's going to do it. Remember, Auburn, Opelika, Lee County, looking for some real estate. Want to sell, want to buy, look no further for the help you need. Miss Jessica Andrews, give her a call, 334-704-4442. 5-star realtor. That's what she is. Give her a call. Tell her we sent you. All right, folks. Going to do it for us tonight, man. We appreciate everybody listening. We appreciate everybody watching. For Cole, for Zach in the back, who went to the back, for Alan Head, I'm Jeffrey Lee, man. Y'all stay at that left lane. See ya.